But it's if you want a hell, I hate, and this is another unflattering truth about human nature for men and women, by the way, is that the most stable relationships are based on two things. The first one is polarity, and the second one is an imbalance in sexual market value. So if that, and hopefully in favor of the guy. So if a man is, at least perceptually, if that woman perceives that guy to be one step above herself in sexual market value, that tends to be a much more stable relationship than if the guy is at or below her, or perceptually anyway, she perceives him as being low. Or maybe he was higher, and then somewhere along the way in the relationship, he devalued, like he got fat, right? Or he lost his job, or something devalued his sexual market value. And now she sees him at or below her. You want to know why divorces are initiated right after a woman gets a promotion at work, or suddenly she becomes something more, like her status, or her perceived status jumps higher than the guy, or she's making more money than the guy. And maybe it didn't start out that way. Maybe he was making more and then she got a promotion, she got above him. That triggers divorce. Statistically, provably, empirically, the data is there. Your woman gets a promotion, the clock's ticking, because women want a man that they can look up to. Women want a man that they can admire. Women want a man that other men want to be and other women want to bang. And if she's making the money, and if she's pushed herself up, even if it's perceptual, it could be complete nonsense. But as long as there is that imbalance there, you're going to have an unstable relationship. That's how it works. Polarity and SMV ratio imbalances. So why are women more willing to share a high value alpha? Well, in polygamy, gyno, many women, one man, one high value man. As I said in that video, we're headed towards a polygyny that is female initiated polygyny, not male initiated. It's not like the emperor in the Forbidden City is getting lots of women and saying, "All right, girls, get into the Forbidden City. I'm gonna bang you." No, it's women are choosing those guys. Because, as we've noticed in your other question, yes, we've unfettered all of the restraints on hypergamy. Does it benefit women? Yeah, biologically it does, because more women have access to better quality sperm, have more access, or try to anyways. If they can. Most women today have the beta buck side of hypergamy already taken care of, even if it's just perceptual, or they believe that they can. I make my own damn money, right? Okay, well, what does that mean? That means you have the long-term security, or you'd like to anyways, have the long-term security aspect of the beta buck side of hypergamy already taken care of. What's left? Sharing a high value alpha, because those guys are few and far between. They don't need a beta. Only reason women need beta males, or have in the past, or made that compromise in the past, is because they were good candidates for long-term security. If they got a hot guy back then, that was just icing on the cake. Now it is the cake. So it's wanting to get with that guy. So it's women are far more likely to share an alpha male in practice anyways. They'll never admit to it. They don't want to. Women don't want a guy to cheat, but they love a guy who could cheat. That's the whole, I talked about this when I did this. I was think it was when I was talking about the, what was it? It was the last Wednesday show. As a matter of fact, it was the God pill one. Women love a man who could cheat. I know it was. They were talking about Kevin Samuels, and actually Myron and Fresh. Like a high value man deserves to cheat, or he's going to cheat, or he could cheat. Women love that. They love a guy who could cheat. They love to have that kind of urgency and that kind of uncertainty and that passive dread that comes from the he's really hot, he could cheat, right? That kind of unconscious knowledge. That's very arousing for women, because that guy's a high value guy that other men want to be and other women want to bang. What else? I learned about the red pill when I was 16. You, my friend, are the envy of manliness. Devil my own coffee. And now I don't want to go out date women. I just focus on my career. Is this a bad thing? Should I change? No, you're 16. Oh, well, I don't know how old you look older than 16 in your abs, so you're probably not 16 anymore. No, focus on yourself. chase excellence, my friend. But guess what happens when you're chasing excellence? Women tend to look at you and go, hey, I want to get with this guy. My suggestion is this. I've got a whole video that's dedicated to this is do both. I don't see why people think that, oh, I've got to focus on my career and focus on me and my masculine self-improvement. And it becomes this hobby and this obsession and everything else. The problem is once you get to that point where you are a quote unquote success, whatever that looks like, you are at a severe disadvantage because you can be taken advantage of by women who say, a big fish. Hey, this guy makes a lot of money and he's dumb. He spent all of his time working on his career. He spent all of his time, building a business. He spent all of his time thinking about him. He doesn't know anything about women's nature. Haha, cool. Yeah. Hi, how you doing? My name's Carrie. Oh, good. Good for you. Right. You don't get some magical knowledge of women's nature because you focused on your career. Right? You still have to understand women's nature and men's nature. That's why it's valuable to understand the red pill. Even if you go, hey man, I'm going to be MGTOW. I'm going to eat black pills. Forget it. I'm never going to deal with women again in my life. Okay. Well, if that's what you're going to do, then you have no need for this. And I certainly hope you're like building yourself up and doing something with yourself, which I would argue you're not, but at some point you're going to be at a disadvantage. Like guys who just focus to one, and I know I've worked with lots of guys for a long time. I've worked for very rich men, and I've worked with very rich men who have been taken to the cleaners in divorce because they simply they believed that their wives were operating from the old set of rules. Now, would it have been a better idea for them to have learned the red pill? Would it have better, benefited them to understand intersexual dynamics? Yes, it would. So you don't get taken to the cleaners. PJ Washington sure as hell could have used the red pill, but he was focusing on his career, man. He did exactly what you guys told him to do. Be the best damn NBA player you can. Yes, it's good. I'm masculine self-improvement. I'm going to be the best damn player in the world. $200,000 a month. Maybe it's not that. Somebody said that's bullshit, but I don't know. Maybe it is. Child support. If you're, let me tell you something. Like the best mark for women right now is for a woman to be in like 29, 30, 31 years old in her epiphany phase and find a guy who's about the same age, somewhere around there, and dumb as a sack of hammers when it comes to women's nature. In fact, if that guy is blue pill and has this sort of like, his head's in the clouds and he's this romantic, emotional soul, like every woman, like all that feminine society wants him to be, he is completely ignorant of the game. That is the best find a woman can possibly have. If you are like have focused on nothing but your career and just did all this stuff, I'm focused on me, masculine self-improvement and all this other shit, right? I'm not saying that that's bad. Yes, but it doesn't impart you with some magical knowledge of women's nature. You still have to get out and date. You still have to understand women. You still have to know the red pill. You still have to be red pill aware. You still have to be game savvy. Because if you don't, just like the 48 laws of power, that doesn't mean that you have to use every seduction technique. That doesn't mean you have to, I'm going to be cocky and funny. I'm going to do neg hits. I'm going to do amuse mastery. It doesn't, okay, you don't have to do any of those, but you do have to know why those work. Because if you don't have a full understanding of that, you will be at a severe disadvantage when it comes time for you to go, I think I want to have kids. There'd be a line of women out the door. If you're like a successful, high value alpha man, you are very, very rare. There's Aaron Clary sent me a link to the women's delusion calculator. God damn it. I should have picked that up today. And what it is like, okay, how tall are you? How jacked are you? How much money do you make? And it's just this sort of, you should, as a guy, it's really for women, but guys are doing it too. And so you kind of key in all this information, like how tall are you? What are you single? So that's you got to ask that question. Are you single? How much money do you make? What's your age? Like there's an age range kind of thing there too. And it will show you just like if a woman wanted to marry you, what the statistical percentage of her actually meeting you and actually hooking up with you and starting a relationship with you. And the higher the value of the guy, the much lower that percentage drops. I got to dig that up. That would actually make for a really good Wednesday show. Maybe I'll do that.